What'd you say, Harsha?
Harsha said die.
What?
Look,
They
you
do
know how
that
old
too.
people like, and then you just pause.
Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting discussion sometimes. Today I'm with the regular boys, so Harsha, Haran, and Christian. And today we're actually joined by my good friend back from high school, Tarif. Tarif, you want to introduce yourself, bro?
Yeah, what it do? My name is Tarif Sharif. I'm the 22-year-old singer-songwriter from Northern Virginia, and I'm excited to sort of be on your guys' podcast today.
Yeah, I'm glad it's finally happening. I think Tarif swiped up on one of our stories like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so he's finally on. But yeah, bro. So what have you been up to recently, or what has everyone been up to recently? How was everyone weeks?
I mean, my week has sort of been consumed with sort of creating content, sort of figuring out ways to be able to push this project that I have coming out in creative ways. So like coming up with like video content to be able to push. That is sort of how most of my week has been going. I also have like 3 exams this week. So just sort of
Shit.
dialing in and just grinding is how my week's been going so far. Not much
Mhm.
time to just like sit down and just relax.
How do you plan out your days with class and trying to make music and all that?
I think that it really does, as cliche as it sounds, like just compartmentalizing stuff. Do you know what I mean? And putting other stuff to the side, like knowing that I'm gonna have time to spend time with my friends and do shit that I like once I get all this sort of heavy lifting stuff out of the way. So just being able to time manage properly and not, bullshit
Mhm.
during certain times is how I sort of manage that.
Yeah, especially nowadays, like everyone's in quarantine, so everyone's here. You can pretty much spend time with them anytime.
Right. And I don't feel like there's that like social pressure to like hang out with people and like always do stuff now too. So
Yeah.
it's like a great excuse to just like be able to just focus on work. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. I definitely feel that. Harsha, how was your week, buddy?
My week was pretty chill, man. Work wasn't too bad.
You
And
guys are
it was-
Capital One boys, yeah?
Yeah. What's in your
Capital One
wallet?
boys.
And then I got to Friday, feeling very excited about watching LeBron get his 4th ring last night.
Oh,
Mm.
Wore my jersey and everything. I haven't brought it out all playoffs. And, my dad stayed up. He usually doesn't stay up for these games. We're all just excited. And then it didn't win.
Yeah, it's a great series. It's a great series. Them Heat boys are coming. Them Heat boys is coming.
Would you say your dad's a curse?
Yeah, man. The only 2 games he's watched this series are game 3 and 5.
Oh my god, you're serious?
damn.
Yeah.
That's so rude.
Yeah, we definitely need your dad to watch 6 and 7 too. That's great.
I told Harsha back after game 4 when they went up 3-1 that if they didn't win game 5 because they switched to the Mamba jerseys and they had won every series in 5 games, that if they don't win game 5, they're losing the whole series. So watch out.
So now your prediction is Heat in 7
Oh, for sure.
is what you're saying. Okay. Bet.
As a Celtics fan, I can't allow the Lakers, as much as I don't like LeBron anyway, I can't allow the
Mhm.
Lakers to equalize us in championships. So I hate LeBron, but I
Yeah.
hate the Lakers more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, bro. I really just don't like certain people on the Lakers, and I just feel like the Heat are so deep. Just want them to win. Honestly,
I feel
so
that
young.
for sure.
Good shit.
It's okay, Lakers fans don't like a lot of their players either. I think Lakers fans
Definitely,
only
man.
like 3 people.
I
Uh,
like 3 people only. Yeah.
Wait, who's the third?
KCP.
Yeah, I was gonna
now.
say KCP.
Oh,
He had a good
what?
series.
You don't like Rondo?
I was gonna say Rondo. I mean, Rondo's
Uh,
been okay this series, but not as good.
Yeah, I think he should have been out there then. He wouldn't have
Basically,
made a
Lakers-
stupid ass play and threw out of bounds.
Basically, Lakers fans only like LeBron and AD, and then whoever's the 3rd best player in that series they're playing in.
That
It
night.
switches like every
That
series.
Yeah.
There's no consistency. They're best player.
Yeah, so they better win tomorrow. I hope so. Because after fucking Danny Green missed a wide open 3.
Lovely, gorgeous. We love it.
They ruined
Actually, I have a
great
question
LeBron
for you.
game. Yes.
Dude, LeBron
all
had a
right.
crazy game. Oh my god.
So my question for Harsha, because this is gonna come out after the finals is over, one way or the other. Okay.
Yes.
Give me your highs and your lows, buddy. Like, if they win, tell me what's going to go through your head. And if they miraculously collapse, let me know what's going to go through that head of yours.
I do not want to think about that second option.
Well, I'm
At
giving you
all.
both of them, and you
That's-
have to answer both.
Okay. I'll start with this shitty option. If they lose in 7, I think LeBron can never come back from that. I think no matter how many more rings he wins, like next year, the year after, whatever, like that,
If
it's
they
gonna hurt
lose-
his legacy forever.
If they lose in 7, would you say he's still? Or do you think he's a GOAT right now, or do you think Jordan's a GOAT?
LeBron's a GOAT, baby.
But if he loses in 7, you don't think that
No,
anymore?
he's not. Yeah, because like 2011 happened and he collapsed. Like whatever, you can't defend that. But ever since then, he's showed up every single time, and against this Heat team, who's not even as good as the other teams he's lost to since the Dallas series, like it's inexcusable. Especially they're not even completely healthy. But if they win, LeBron's the GOAT. Let's fucking go. They're gonna win on Sunday.
Wait, Harsha, if it goes to 7, do you think the Lakers will lose?
No, but I will lose. I will lose my sanity. Yeah. So on Sunday we got, the Browns game is now at 4:30, and then it ends at 7:30, and the Lakers game is at 7:30. Bro, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Wait, who the Browns play? Who the Browns play?
They're playing the Colts,
Ooh, that's
Lead the-
No, that
who
doesn't
are the
hurt.
best
Colts are
rushing
decent.
defense. So yeah. I don't know if I'll make it to the next episode.
Christian, how was your week, buddy?
It was all right. I'm kind of not in the same caliber of boat as Tarif, but, I'm trying to get some stuff out there and, like, get creative stuff flowing. So I've been working on that a lot. Yeah, I got FIFA this week, which I know Haran's going to be stoked about one way or the other. So that's taking up some of my time. Everybody knows it's a pretty bad game, but, it occupies my time. So that's fun. But other than that, just kind of chilling, doing some work here and there. Still out on the hunt for full-time position, but, all in all, regular old week.
Is the job hunt tough right now? Like mad tough?
It's tough in the sense that jobs, fill up quickly, which is to be expected no matter what the climate is, but also the kinds of jobs that I'm looking for at entry-level positions either require like 4 to 5 years of experience, which doesn't make sense.
That's so stupid.
But like I have 3 years of experience, which is good enough, I would think. But it's just tough figuring out, my problem is I'm very picky. And so the fit of the organization or wherever that I go is really important to me. So it's really tough to figure that out, through just a posting or whatever. So doing a lot of research on who you're going to work for and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is really important.
If the Lakers was the only NBA team in the market for you, would you turn them down?
WNBA, here I come, baby. I mean, it would be cool in the sense that I could move to Los Angeles, but that's about the only positive I see in that scenario.
Christian, what did you study in school?
So I studied, the technical title is multimedia journalism with a concentration in sports media analytics. But basically, I knew how to be a journalist, but I worked for the school, Virginia Tech, in all their sports broadcasting. And so I helped with all the show production for all of their basketball, soccer, volleyball, lacrosse, baseball, all the sports. I helped run all of the shows that went online for my first 2.5 years, and then they started going on TV pretty much last year at Tech full time. So a lot of
Okay. Flex,
big
flex,
big
flex.
games.
It was crazy though. Mans was on the field and shit.
Yeah, he's on the field for some big football games too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
that was-
L's.
Okay.
All L's, yeah.
Hey man, I'm just lucky I'm not there today, dude. They're getting ripped apart.
Hey, it's 14-21.
Not that
Wait,
bad.
who are they playing?
UNC.
UNC.
Okay.
I still get emails from Virginia Tech football, and they're always asking me to either donate or like watch a game, and I just can't
Yeah,
be-
same.
I can't be asked, and I tried.
You
blocking
guys
them,
are
like,
you
3
guys are them
times.
tech alumnuses now, bro.
No, fuck all that.
I ain't giving
man.
I ain't giving them my money, bro.
Dude,
They already
I'm
gave
giving
too
them
much
nothing.
Yeah.
for fucking nothing.
Honestly,
Harsh just sighed like 16 times this one episode.
dude, he's so distraught.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep for so long yesterday, and I woke up early.
Damn.
Why'd you wake up early?
I mean, not early. I woke up at 11, but
Oh.
it was early for me. Haran, how was your week?
My week was fine. Just a lot of school stuff. There's actually a lot less work this week than before. I think teachers were like realizing that they're giving us too much. I think so. They kind of chilled out this week. But yeah,
That doesn't
just
sound
class-
right.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect it. But last week was just hell because I had like 2 quizzes and like the homework sets are like really long. But this week I didn't have any quizzes and only had like 2 homework sets instead of like 3. So it wasn't too bad. The Christian said I got FIFA, but that was a whole saga because I had pre-ordered the game to come on Tuesday, but like COVID like delayed the shipment until Friday. So basically, like my pre-order became like when the game came out for everyone. So I didn't really get my money's worth, which was kind of sad. But then, so then I told my mom, and then she called. She got like really mad, and I was like, "It's not that big of a deal." And then she ended up calling GameStop and giving them a hard time. So she got me like $5 back for the shipping. So not too bad, I guess. Yeah.
That
See,
reminds
what I
me
don't
of, like-
understand is why you don't do digital download. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. So usually, for the last few years, I've always gone to GameStop and picked it up. Like that's always like my go-to move, I guess. I also didn't know digital download was a thing until I met Christian, because like I didn't like know that people had PS4, and then I got that PS4 had all like the games digitally downloaded. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But like I've never done it still. I think except the 2K I got like for free, like this past summer on the PlayStation Store. But so yeah, I would have ideally went into the GameStop at Tyson's and like picked it up, but you know COVID, I don't want to like I don't want it to go out of the house if I didn't need to, kind of thing. So I thought I'd just ship it to me, but yeah.
I like the feeling of having a game. Sometimes, getting to put that
Dude,
CD in there.
The tangible feeling.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just
I feel you.
I don't like how you
it's
said
in the
put that
air.
CD in there, bro. That was kind of
Insert CD.
no, that was worse.
Oh boy.
I started a Blu-ray collection just for that same reason. It's that
Nice.
feel.
Otherwise,
How
you
big
just
is your
don't know
collection?
what you're paying for.
I mean, you do.
Yeah, but you where is it?
I
I
have
can't
like
see
5
it.
DVDs, but it's growing. It's growing.
No, okay.
I could literally do like a photo of every single FIFA, like FIFA 06, like all the disc covers that I have.
Hmm.
Kind of, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but that's just been how long I've been playing.
I will be changing my stance on this one. I buy the cheaper version of the PS5 whenever I do.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also gonna do that. That doesn't have a disk drive, so it's just all digital download.
Mhm.
I think that's. I also just think it's more efficient. I think it's different when you live in an area that doesn't have like good internet, so you can't download or whatever, or it takes like days to download or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have good internet and you have a decent sized hard drive, or you have a lot of space on your hard drive, then I don't see the point in not doing it. I get the physical,
But-
like tangible thing, but yeah.
It's also a 4K Blu-ray player. So if you have a DVD collection, you know what I mean?
Hey, this man's is 5-heading everything. I love it.
I was gonna say I saw an 8K 85-inch TV. Like someone on Instagram bought it, and I looked it up, and it's like a 90K TV. And I was just like, why would you spend 90K? on a
90K?
TV? Yeah, because next year it's gonna be like 75K.
Oh,
Like, that TV probably depreciates more than a car. You think about that?
Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait,
Like, I'm
like,
pretty
do you know the TV market like that?
I mean, generally that's how it works, right?
I don't know. I mean, like, unless like
Maybe.
I guess like a new design.
If
comes
you
out.
say so.
Not $90,000 for a TV.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I mean, yeah,
it's
that's a lot
8K. 8K, like 85, or it was like 85 inches, I think. So
Bro, you
she
think-
was-
Wait,
you think we can notice a
depreciates in
difference?
value?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was saying, do you think it depreciates in value because like a new design or like a new thing will come out next year? Or
Yeah, I mean, no, like generally, like Tree, you work at Best Buy, you know this, right? Like TVs like
Gang,
go down
gang.
in value every year, right?
They go down in value almost like every couple months.
Yeah,
Damn.
there you go.
Yeah.
Now, I was thinking like a car, you know, like it's like the 2020 like
Yeah, it's
like I don't know
interesting.
TV, the Samsung TV deal or some shit.
Well, I also think it was like you know the wallpaper TVs, the ones that are like unbelievably thin.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it was one of those too. So the price is probably astronomical, but I can't because there's not even like 8K like Netflix. Like you
Dude,
can't
is that like
stream
the-
8K.
Is that like the TV that Kanye has? You know what I'm talking about?
Dude,
Like,
that's what I
Kanye-
was just thinking of. Is like the
I-
huge thing that Kanye had.
Yeah, like, cause Kanye like just posts like these random tweets where like he's just walking in front of his like TV and like there's like a big ass caption about like some like sports play that just happened or something.
Yeah, dude. You were saying like an 86-inch TV? Dude, this thing is like 80 feet by like 30 feet.
80 feet?
Like,
What
this
the
thing
fuck?
is an entire.
He's like walking in the
barn
IMAX theater
side
in his
of a
house. I'm
fucking
like
TV.
100% sure.
Yeah.
Wait, is this on his
Yeah, man's an
Instagram?
icon.
I feel like I saw it on his
no.
Twitter.
It was somebody else like that was at his house that like posted about it.
Got you.
But it was literally like an IMAX in your back in like your basement or something.
I'm pretty sure he was like
It's
watching
insane.
a bubble game on it. Or I forgot what game it was.
Yeah, he was watching. It was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Trif, do you still work at Best Buy, or are you doing like a part-time job or anything?
Yeah, so I'm there part-time still, so I'll like show up, I'll do my couple hours here and there, make a little bit of
Mhm.
bread. But for the most part, I'm just, working like schoolwork, I mean, and
Yeah.
just sort of just music, and then that's really it for me.
Mhm.
But it's nice to have that little Best Buy discount in the tuck too, just in case something goes down. You know what I mean? So,
That's
That's
true.
How is working
What-
at Best Buy?
I don't know if I want to talk about it because, well, I mean, I guess if they hear it, it's whatever, it's fine. It's cool. Like, I mean, it's like any sort of other, I guess, retail job. If you worked retail, right? You deal with your like great customers, and then you'll have customers who are not so great, to say the least. Like there was actually one day where I had 2 customers faint right in front of me in the same day within the span of like 2 hours. So that was pretty interesting.
They're like an 85-inch TV.
Yeah, so this one lady had just come in to like I guess pick up her like iPhone at the time, and I think it was maybe during Black Friday last year or something like that.
Mhm.
And she just came in this huge line just to pick up her iPhone, which she could have done the day after or something like that. And she comes to the front. We ask for the lady's phone number for her rewards or whatever, and as she's typing it in, she just passes out. And I'm just like, what am I?
What?
Like, I have her iPhone in my hand. Like, what am I supposed to do? So
Like
I
tuck it in
try
and like
calling,
push
like,
her out.
I tried calling like 911 and like leaning over to like hold her on the other side of the cash register at the same time. Whole time I'm thinking like, yo, like I definitely need a raise. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
like, but like she got taken away like on her stretcher.
Oh my god.
Apparently it was like dehydration, which is wild
Mhm.
to me. But I mean, I guess it makes sense.
That's that Black Friday grind, bro.
Bro, she must have been
Yeah,
in that
dude.
line for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. I had to hand the paramedic the receipt and the iPhone
Really?
was wild. Yeah, sent it to the hospital right
Dude,
there.
that's
That
wild.
A1
Paramedic just
service,
nabbed that
baby.
shit.
Yeah, dude. Who knows what happened to that iPhone, really? You know what I mean? Came for the iPhone, she went home with like a $2,000 ambulance bill.
Hey, you use your Best Buy rewards on that, you know?
Should have just bought a $2 Dasani, really, bro.
Facts.
Yeah. So that was the one time. I actually don't want to talk about the other time. But yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
fair.
No one
NDAs,
listens. You
NDAs,
should
it's
say it.
okay.
You know how like older people in hospitals like sort of they
Die.
like piss in like bags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harsha, what?
Like
What'd you say, Harsha?
Or just a die.
Die.
What? What the fuck?
No, 'cause
I mean,
you
they
just,
do
you know
do
how
that
old
too.
people like, and then you just pause and Harsha's like, die?
yeah, so one time I had a gentleman come in like which is fine, you know what I mean? People deal with like their things or whatever, but he came in carrying his bag in his hand at the same time. So that's a little bit like jarring, like as an employee, just to like you're checking someone out and you just sort of lays the bag down on your same table. So it's like it's little things like that, but for the most part, it's like an enjoyable job. You know what I mean? Discount is, I guess, okay. I don't know if it's worth those things. You know what I mean? But I'm ready to be on the like real job market, is what I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I
Fair.
got you.
But
Are you also looking
something
for a
part
job
time.
too?
Yeah, I mean, I am, but I'm not, because music is fortunately going somewhere for me. It's sort of going in that upward trend or direction to where I'm at the point now where I feel like I can make it a career, which is pretty crazy to say. But yeah, I am still looking for jobs at the same time. I'm not gonna put all my eggs in one basket.
I think
That
that's
is
really
the
smart.
thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask you because I remember back in the day, you used to make YouTube videos, and I was in like one or two. Of them.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
how'd you go from that to like just making music? Because I think it was like soon after where you started making music, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was ever a conscious transition. I always just like making shit. Like whether
Yeah.
people watched it or not, it was just something that I enjoyed doing. So whether it was drawing or like making music or doing beats or things like that, it was shit that I was always doing anyways.
Mhm.
So I mean, it just happened. It just so happened that the music is what ended up picking up some traction. But I still make videos even if people don't see them. Do you know what I mean?
You still making YouTube videos?
I don't make YouTube videos like that, put them out, but I think you can see the influences in sort of like the sort of like short skits and things that I do
I know what you're
on
talking
my
about, yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys don't know this, but like back in the day, one of Sharif's YouTube videos, is this still up? The ping pong tournament
I
thing?
think they're all up. They're all
Dude,
up.
yeah. So so Sharif did like a ping pong tournament like video with like us and the boys, and the loser, which was me, had to drink like a dirty milkshake where they put like random ass shit in there. It was fucking
Yeah,
nasty. I
definitely.
just,
Oh
dude,
god.
they put like milk and Sprite and like hot sauce and like some other shit in there.
They definitely don't watch it. It hasn't aged well, but the story is good for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
got
yeah.
you. The arc, the climax and shit.
Wait, did
Right,
you,
right,
drink-
right, right.
did you finish all of it?
No, hell no. They told me they told me
No.
I didn't have to drink like that much. So
did
I
for
think
the
that's the
content.
only reason he did it, because we told him you could get off with like a sip.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So was
I
it
remember
good?
drinking it though, and like I think Shrieker put in way too much Sprite, so it wasn't actually that bad.
Damn. I didn't know that until now. So he was really faking the whole reaction this entire time.
No. I remember in the video. I was like, I took a sip and I turned around and I was like, dude, deadass is not that bad. I remember saying that.
I remember making some jokes that probably haven't aged well either.
Oh god.
Hey, we've all been
We've
there.
all been there. It's okay.
Yeah.
But,
So Treef, what do you study in school?
I am a computer science major with minors in business and psych.
Damn, literally everything. That's insane. No, honestly though, like those are. I feel like the first two are very similar, but then psych is like a thing that doesn't get paired with that very often.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know, it's just something that was interesting and that sort of fit into what I could do with the time that I had. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna sort of bang it out because it's interesting.
A lot of the people that do like user interface or like user experience like development, they do like psych what do you call it, majors or minors, because that usually helps in how what do you call it, how they build their UI and shit.
Got you. Like on the perception side of things, that makes sense.
Yeah, like people at Facebook when they created the like button, shit like that, you know.
I'm taking a class on perception right now, bro. It's arguably the hardest class I've taken in my life.
What are you learning in it?
It's like the it's like the bio and the physics behind like how we take in certain stimuli, like whether it's like auditory or like visual, and how exactly that's processed in our brain and how it like comes out. It's pretty wild.
Damn.
That's cool, bro. I started reading this week. I bought a book called The Power of Habit. I bought a book
I've read
called
that actually.
You have? Yeah, dude. It's
Is it
fucking
Eckhart
crazy.
Tolle?
No, it's Charles. Hudig or Duhigg,
Um,
something like that.
Yeah. I've read that.
Yeah, dude,
Good stuff.
it's really fucking good. It's cool. Um, I'm like 80 or like 100 pages in.
Mm.
And it's like a really easy read, but basically it's all about how habits work. He speaks about all these different examples of like how like there was one marketing genius guy who basically he worked with this toothpaste brand like back in the day, I think in like the 40s or 50s, called Pepsodent, and he was the one that like made a marketing campaign to make you want to use toothpaste every day. Like before that point, people weren't brushing their teeth like every day, twice a day, but after he worked with that brand, that toothpaste brand, everyone started brushing their teeth twice a day, and that's like how it's continued on from now,
Hmm.
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild how so much of those like little sorts of things just get lost in like history that we just don't realize.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I went on a heavy stint. Like I've always like read like throughout my life like really heavily. So like I went on a stint too where I was reading a lot of those sort of like self-help books. Like,
Mhm.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like while like the information they provide is always like interesting, like unless you sort of implement those sorts of things into your life, like there really is nothing that you gain from those sorts of books.
Mhm.
But it's a good book
Mhm.
for sure.
I definitely agree with you. The reason I like this is because it's kind of like short stories. Like they give a lot of different examples of how habits are utilized in, like a bunch of different fields. So I thought it was just really interesting in that sense. Who knows if it'll actually help me create good habits or get rid of my bad ones, but we'll see.
But at least
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Do you guys think you could still read like fictional stories, or would it have to be more along the books you're reading now, where it's kind of like I guess real life stuff?
I believe really heavily in like reading a lot of fiction, because I think there's a certain part of your brain that lights up just from imagining certain scenarios and situations and putting yourself in certain spots. I think it really helps with like empathy in particular, in dealing with people and things of that nature. But yeah, I think fiction is really valuable.
I'm like a really visual person, so I remember like back in the day, all I used to read was fiction just for the reason that like when they're explaining these stories, I could like Tarif was saying, like sort of imagine like a whole different world in my head, and like I could literally like see it when I'm reading the book, which just sounds weird to say, but that's like the main reason I enjoyed fiction so much when I was younger.
So for me, I used to read it a lot when I was younger, but recently I just haven't, like I guess since high school. So on the off chance I do pick up a book, I feel like I should be reading one of those real life type books that would help me, because I don't read that much anyways. So I feel like I should
Mhm.
like make it more useful. But I agree that like fiction is still pretty nice. I've been reading the same book for the last, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months, so it's not
Okay.
going great. I'm reading this book called Prey by Michael Crichton or something, and
Wait,
it's
prey like is in like a religious, or like prey is in like a predator and prey?
Predator and Prey.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about how they develop these like nanotechnology particles that learn on themselves how to act like prey in the wild. And then it's fictional, but it's has like some nonfiction components in it, like learning about like all the technology and stuff. So and then at some point, like it learns to turn into the predator and try to attack like the humans that created it or something. And this book was written in 2002, so this is well before like some of these technologies that we're seeing today have been created. So it's still pretty interesting how that type of stuff is still relevant now.
That's crazy.
But I've been reading like 10 pages a week.
Are you like not allotting enough time for it, or are you just
It's because I don't have the physical book. I'm reading a PDF on my laptop, and I just really don't like looking at a screen and trying to read. I would much prefer having a physical copy and just
Mhm.
leaving it next to my bed. But saves money. I did download it illegally.
you could just
No,
download
you
the PDF
didn't.
on your phone and read off your phone, right? If that makes
Yeah. I like the bigger screen, but I don't could just because I'm looking at a screen. But
I swear it's like the like distraction of having it on digital and like having the option to like look at your Instagram or like your
Yeah,
Twitter at
yeah.
the same time just like throws like a whole bunch of shit off.
Yeah, but I
when
think
I'm-
I think also just like especially now in quarantine, we're all like in front of screens the whole day more than like ever
Yeah.
before. So like I guess reading books would be like your time away from that if you have a physical copy. So
Right.
yeah.
And usually I like to read at night right before I sleep, but I don't
Mhm.
really like looking at my phone at that time.
I'm in the same kind of boat as Harsha. I don't really read, for fun anymore. I feel like I switched from getting my enjoyment in both fiction, nonfiction, from reading to consuming other kinds of media, which is definitely a luxury that we have nowadays. But like, I still appreciate like the value in reading because I think it was like Tarif was saying, like that value of empathy. When you're a very literal, real world person, like it's very hard to imagine things outside of your own realm, and so those kinds of stories definitely, help you, like he said, empathize and imagine things outside of what you experience, and I think that's definitely a really important part of just human nature and stuff like that. So I think they both serve a really big purpose. So it doesn't matter one way or the other whether you read fiction or nonfiction, as long as you're taking into account the real world like
Mhm.
effects of both of them.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like how you spoke to, right? Like, I think a lot of how we operate as humans and just individuals is based on like our sort of experiences in the world, right? And we can
Yeah.
only have so many just of our own. So being able to tap into those sort of other experiences is big, and being able to build a bigger perspective of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Haran, I know Stanford makes you do like everything under the sun. So how many, libraries have you had to read over there?
Wait. Wait, what?
Do you read at Stanford, sir?
Do I read at Stanford?
Yes. Other than textbooks.
Besides textbooks, no, not really.
Okay, do you read for fun in general in life?
No, so I have not read for fun in a really long time, and I kind of want to get back into it. Like I was saying, I guess like the point I was making earlier, I think I'm spending way too much time like at a screen, and like my eyes start to hurt like now more than it did like in the past. So I just think like any time I could use like away from screens and like hopefully like reading a book, like a physical copy, would help that. And also I think it would be nice for me to get back into reading. I need to like find that first book. I think if I get that first book right and like I connect with it, then I think I can like really get back into reading.
What kind of things would you be interested in reading? Do you think?
So when I was growing up, I read like a lot of fiction. And I don't think I really got into like the life advice books because I guess like I was too young to like actually care about that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think my first book I'll probably choose to be like along those lines, or maybe an autobiography. I think I read an autobiography in the past like 2 years. Like we were in like LA, and my mom, my sister, and like my family were all like out shopping, and I just couldn't be bothered, so I just went to the Barnes and Noble there, and like I was reading like an autobiography about this soccer player that I like had heard about a lot about. And then I think that was the last time I actually like read a book like completely, or yeah. So maybe like one of those autobiographies. I kind of wanted to read the Trevor Noah one. I heard that one's really good. Like his story. I mean, I've heard a lot about his story because like he's talked on interviews and I watched that. But maybe I'll read that book too.
Who would have ever thought we're gonna have a fucking book club on the goddamn podcast, bro?
Yeah, this is one of
Yeah,
the
there it
ideas.
is.
This is literally one of the ideas I put in our
Yeah, and we all
brainstorm.
said fuck you because we don't read. But
Yeah.
we are.
All we need is a fellow intellect like Tarif to come on the podcast to open our eyes.
Fellow intellect, high praise, high praise.
In order to ponder over our praise, we must wait for an ad break. All right, guys, welcome back to part 2 of episode, I don't know, what is this, 28, I hope? I think that's right. I'm just going to say 28. I've heard that somebody specific has a statement / question. I don't know what he's going to say. True, what's up, buddy?
That was a crazy setup, bro. I was just back when we were talking about like reading versus consuming other forms of content. I was saying that I feel like with books you can. Okay, what I'm comparing right now is really just like books versus like YouTube videos or like fast forms of content, not necessarily like movies. But like I feel like with books you can reread or like get way more out of it than out of, like a even like a 10 to 20-minute YouTube video, you know what I mean? Like however many times you watch that video, you're not going to get something different out of it. Um, Whereas books, you might notice something that you didn't notice before. Um, but yeah.
I guess it depends, because I feel like if it's like a fictional story, like I'm pretty sure the biggest Harry Potter fans out there, like if you keep reading that book over and over again, you're gonna pick up on small things that you didn't like notice the first time you read it through. But I feel like in terms of like if it was a book about like a historical event compared to like a YouTube video, I feel like either like both ways, if you read or you watch the video, I think you would get the same amount of content, if that makes sense. Like no matter how many times you read or watch it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I think it depends. I think the thing with books is that we spend so little time now on content that like sitting down with a book, we spend just so much more time sitting there and like reading it as opposed to like watching like a 10-minute video. I'm sure if you watch the 10-minute video like 3, 4, 5 times, you probably get the same amount of information that you do out of both. But we just spend so much more time with the text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That's
think it
fair.
also goes with like context, because when you read a book, like the words don't change, right? It's only your perception of what the words mean that can change. So those words are going to be the same no matter what, like no matter how many times you read it. So maybe you have a different like look or a different like opinion on something the second or third time you read it. But I think it's the same. It could be just the kind of videos that I watch, but like when I watch a music video or I listen to a song, like on my like 80th or 90th like watch or listen, like I could pick up something new. Like I think that's what's really cool about the other kinds of like content that we've had recently, like stuff that's been put out the last few years, is that there's like hidden layers to everything. Well, not everything. Some things are just very plain sight and like you see it and that's what you get. But then I think that's what makes things really like works of art or whatever kind of media you choose to consume. Like that makes that super special, because you can deep dive into like the different layers and like pick up on new things, and I think that's really cool. And it goes for books too. I'm not saying books don't do it, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, like this the sorts of art that you can listen to or watch or look at and just look like on first glance just looks like real surface level, but has like much more information like on a sort of deeper level in it is always more interesting than just I guess the alternative.
Yeah, like that's why concept albums are my favorite thing in the entire world, is because like you can take a motif or just like a theme or whatever and just go through and have 7 to like 13 different like little songs that are different pieces of it, but they all kind of string together, and there's different things that you pick up here and there.
That
So,
shit kind
I
of goes
think-
into a video I watched recently. So like Nathan Zed, who went to tech, he's a tech alum, I guess, and he posted a YouTube video I think last week, and it was about how
Was it the classic album thing?
yeah, essentially he was just talking about how the art of a like a story in an album. I don't know the exact term I'm looking for here, but
Yeah.
like that art's kind of like gone away, and like I think we don't like appreciate it enough. And he said like there's a lot of albums out there like that, if they like just reordered their songs a little bit and like fixed like that stuff and like had more of a narrative, like they would be like classics. Like they're probably like 1 or 2 like switches from like being like a classic album.
Did he give any
think that's-
examples?
Yeah, he was like talking about a lot like a lot of different albums. But he didn't talk about like he was talking about the ones that like did a good job of it. So he like talked about Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly. He's talking about Twisted Dark Beautiful Fantasy, and like and he's talking about like a lot of like R&B. He's talking about like Stevie Wonder and stuff. But I mean it's pretty interesting, I guess. He was saying that he doesn't like when people just shuffle through albums. Like he thinks like if you listen to an album, you gotta listen like from one like in like sequential order.
I've said that before too.
Yeah. I'm just saying what you're saying.
No, I mean like I think he's right. I didn't watch the video, but I saw some tweets or some Instagram story from him or something. But I think he's right that it doesn't get enough love. But I also think people don't look hard enough for those kinds of things. Because, I mean, I know I personally don't listen to a lot of like super in-depth lyrical kind of artists as much. But I think especially us as like a pop culture, I mean, listen, you're not going for like a super hot album. You're going for that hit. Like, I mean, that's the thing. You want something like, for us, like we gravitate to something that's like catchy. Drake, I think, used to have really good storytelling, but in the last like, I don't know how many years, he's just kind of turned into like a hit seeker, which he's really good at, and that's just who he is to at this point. But I think his first like 3 albums were really good, like story wise. Like I think that's just a shift that's been made.
I think also like just from like the commercial side of things, right? The critically acclaimed, well sequenced, lyrically really thoughtful record, I think is harder to market and harder to sell. And in a music
Yeah.
industry where sort of the money isn't really in CD sales or sort of
Right.
like physical media anymore, it's harder to be able to, push those sorts of records unless you're a sort of generational talent or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's why a lot of the music that we see coming to the forefront or that's pushed by like labels and things like that is that sort of that hit record, things like that.
Mm.
So I think again, like Christian was saying, like that music does exist if you were to dig for it, but commercially or in the mainstream on these Spotify top 50s and 100s and Rap Caviar, you're not going to see those sorts of records really pop up.
Would you say it's a fair assumption that usually those like well sequenced like storytelling albums are either put out very early on in a musician's career or after they're already like goated or like substantial or like a known successful musician?
Yeah, so I mean that's a good question. That's another sort of thing that's different about the music climate today. Prior to the streaming era, labels used to actually develop artists prior to releasing them.
Mhm.
Now, before you get a deal or before you even have a meeting, you have to have a hit record or some sort of traction or a fan
Mhm.
base to have the label be able to sell. So to sort of answer your question, I think again those sorts of artists do exist. Like everything, I think it always depends. Um, but yeah, I do think there are kids who are making like I guess mediocre or like hit records that are capable of putting out those types of projects, but you just don't see it right away.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that, like, Drake, for instance, he did it at the early part of his career after he signed with Wayne, and and then he grew to be where he was, and then he started putting out pop stuff and like hits, and that's just one lane. But for me, like Kendrick, if you listen to Kendrick's first mixtape, which is not overly dedicated or Section 80 or whatever, it's like some really whack shit from when he was like 15. Is just, it sounds like Lil Wayne because I think that's who he was trying to be. So I think that development, I think it doesn't just have to be as an artist. It can also just be as a person. Like
Right.
that development of who you are can help shape, the kinds of things that you want to talk about or the way you want to organize things. And I think it's hard to say, especially nowadays when everybody has such a different path. Like it's hard to say that people are more likely to do it this way or that way. But I think definitely, like Tarif was saying, pre-streaming era, like they would they would take your talent and then shape you to who you could become. But now you have to be already pre-established,
Mhm.
and they kind of just, in my opinion, they kind of just feed off of your image or your brand or whatever. Which, as crazy as I think Kanye is, like the fact that he's trying to get everybody to own their masters is like the best thing I've seen him do in so long, because that's how these record labels take advantage of a lot of people. Like Designer's a one-hit wonder pretty much to everybody, right? Like for Panda. But this dude saw, like, he got completely screwed over by good music and couldn't release music for so long. Regardless whether you think it's good or bad, like the dude just wanted to release music, right?
Mhm.
And he couldn't because of his record contract and like his label and all that like other stuff that was going on that was out of his control. Because when you're young and you're trying to come up and you see like the front that they can give you for money, you're just like, oh shit, that's like the shit ton of money. They'll help me like do this, like, help my mom get out the hood or like, whatever. And so you take that and run, but then you're tied to them for so many years and you don't have a say anymore. And so, and you can't make as much money if you don't own your
Yeah.
masters. So it's really tough to like, I don't know. It's a whole different conversation, but in the same way, I think it's just up to the artist, because there's two ways of doing it. You can either get, popping and then do it so people will already have an interest in you, so that then you'll be sure that they listen, or you can try and pop off with that, but that's a much more niche crowd, because like you're
Yeah.
saying, like people shuffle through albums, they don't listen to them all the way through, really.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
it's an interesting conversation. I think a lot of people don't understand that their favorite artists' record deals, like the money that they're given for these their advances. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So the artist is being fronted this sort of money to record a project, market the project, you know, put it out, pay all the people who are playing music in the studio sessions, and they have to be able to recoup the advance that they're given by the label. And then after that, whatever they see on top is green. The issue is a lot of these artists are so underdeveloped that you'll almost never recoup on your first deal. So now you owe the label money, and so you owe them a second project, a third project, and that's how a majority of these rappers and certain musicians end up spending a whole lot of money and then being in the red because they can't recoup, and they thought the label was giving them money to just sort of sign up front. But it's one thing to own your masters and sort of say that you're independent. It's another thing to say you're independent because of choice, because a lot of people
Right.
don't even have the opportunity to be in these sort of label meetings and have conversations with these labels to have the option to be independent or not. For some artists, that major label exposure and that sort of marketing team behind a major label is really beneficial in making these people stars. You know what I mean? At a certain point, your 10 or 15% that you have left over may be way more than you'll ever make as an independent. So for some people, it makes sense. But for the vast majority of the population, owning your masters is a great way to sort of just stay in the game and make your little bread here and there.
Christian, didn't you tell me before that Young Thug had some issues about this too? Was that him? Was it Young Thug? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I think it was Lil Wayne, because
Yeah.
Lil Wayne had he was trying to release the Carter 5 for so many years, and he couldn't due to, Birdman is just a fucking weirdo. I don't really know how else to put it. He looks like a weirdo. He looks like a video game boss. But
He actually kind of does.
Yeah.
but I don't know as much about the whole deal as everybody as I should about Carter 5. But Carter 5 was supposed to be like Detox, where it's a legendary thing that never drops, right? But obviously we got Carter 5 2 years ago. We got the deluxe last month. But basically, a bunch of the original songs that were supposed to be on Carter 5 never got released. They got leaked, but they didn't get released because, I don't know, part of it has to do with sampling. He can't clear the samples sometimes. I don't know as much, but I know Birdman was trying to hold Wayne to that specific, I think with some deals, once you release an X amount of albums or projects, you get out of your deal. And so he was trying to keep Wayne, or I guess it could be in sequence, once you release the Carter 5, you're out of the deal, X amount of Carter albums, So I think what Birdman was trying to do is trying to keep Wayne in his Young Money deal, by not letting him release the Carter 5, so that he would just stay and they would get the money from Wayne, his label, his artist image and all that. But they went to court, and I don't know the specifics about all that. I just know that Wayne won and it got released.
Yeah, just to be clear, that's a very common thing for labels to do, right? When you sign over your masters and things like that, if you flop the first time, there's no reason for a label to say, okay, we want to put out your next song after this or the song after this to recoup our money. They can really just keep you in debt if they want to.
Yeah.
The way the music industry really is able to survive now is off of the sort of profits of the other artists that really pop, right? They take the profits from those and they sort of risk it on younger talent.
Yeah.
So they're just betting on people and giving loans is what it is. They're just loans.
Yeah, it's really sad because especially for smaller artists or even middle size artists, they don't make their money unless they go touring, honestly. You get money from streams, but like you're saying, you gotta pay your
It's not
advance back. You
substantial.
gotta you get, I think for every 10 streams you get 1/10 of a cent or something like that.
Yeah, it's like an eighth
So-
or 1/10 of a cent.
So you don't see money from streams that much, but you get your money from the merch and the ticket sales and all that stuff. Like that's where they really make their money back on albums.
Mm.
So
Merch, touring advances, doing work for other artists, songwriting, things
Yeah.
like that.
To go back to the storytelling thing, I just feel like it's even harder nowadays to tell a story with like any piece of content because things come and go so fast nowadays. Like you'll see a song pop up on TikTok, people will play the shit out of it for like a week or two, and then it's gone. You know what I mean? Same with like I don't know, like a bunch of YouTubers I used to watch. I feel like had like a quick ass lifespan, like a couple of years, and then they're just gone. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's like because they took the bag and just dipped, or if they just or if like the algorithms behind all these different platforms are controlling like what people see and whatnot. But I feel like it's really hard to stand out and stay out nowadays, just because people are always popping up and things are moving mad fast.
Yeah, another point Nathan was making in the video was that like not even just the storytelling, but also just like the pacing of the album and like how like songs like kind of flow into the other. I think that like people don't like respect that enough too.
Mhm.
'Cause, like even like on like old like rock albums like Pink Floyd and stuff, like a lot of their songs like would like flow into the next one, and like that's why like on the radio if you hear them like they just play like three songs like like all after each other because like that's how like the songs kind of feel like they just all become one song. And I feel like a lot of artists like don't, or I guess not artists or producers like don't put a lot of effort into that. But I know like I notice like Metro like he does a lot, like a lot of his albums like a lot of the songs like flow into each other. So like it like keeps you like kind of wanting to just play in sequential order because all the songs like kind of combine into one.
that's a whole different art form though, you know? Like being able to sequence things, like
Yeah,
that's
no,
just a
it's-
whole nother
yeah.
talent. But I think it's really tough because a lot of artists want that pop song, is that when artists release an album, they release a collection of songs. They don't release a coherent album. And that's what, if that's what you're going for, great. For me, that frustrates me a little bit because I like a coherent thought throughout a whole thing. And like what you're saying with Metro, I, like most people, just listen to the Savage Mode 2. And while I think it falls off the theme at the end of the album, you can tell that all the songs are supposed to belong together because of the production style. And also, I mean, that's just who Savage is. I mean, a lot of Savage's songs just kind of all, you know, they don't sound the same, but they have the same kind of sound to them, you know?
Yeah.
So Metro definitely, that's why he's one of my favorite producers, is because he can, and even his Not All Heroes Wear Capes, like that was literally just a collection of songs, but they all somehow went together.
Yeah.
It just, like, that shouldn't have happened. Like, that's such a cool thing for him to do. But yeah, it's definitely, it can be more than the artist that has the control over it. But yeah, it's definitely a lost art, I would say. The ability to sequence and like formulate a thought over an entire album.
I think also that the sort of the savvy artists and the business teams behind these records understand that attention spans are so much smaller nowadays that I think they understand the vast majority of the population is they're gonna open up the album on sort of Spotify and iTunes, right? You'll see the interesting feature on one of the records. You'll click that. Maybe you'll click one or two of the other songs on the project. You'll pick the ones you like, add them to your playlist, and beyond. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's also just a reflection of sort of where most of the consumer is at. So
Yeah, because like if you check Spotify, you check a lot of the rap like projects that came out in the last year. If you just like look at the plays, like the streams, like of each song as you go down, like it literally just like goes consecutively down as you keep going. And I think, yeah, like I saw that on like the Savage's latest album, and like I think I saw that on like a couple of albums like earlier this year too. It is crazy that like people like sometimes just like click on the artist and just see like the 3 songs that are like on their new album that are like trending on their top 5 songs played, and like they just immediately
just
take the 3
continue to
songs
stream those.
Yeah.
and then put it in their playlist and don't even check out the album.
I wonder if we're gonna get to the point where we all just listen to the same songs. like for me, like I have songs from albums that I know that people don't like, but I like them, but nobody knows the song because everybody just knows the 3 songs from that album.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't think of any examples, but there's albums that, I mean, I could list albums that you've probably never even heard of. Like, did you guys even know that A$AP Ferg dropped last week? I bet you didn't.
Nope.
Exactly. I haven't listened to it, but I added it to my library. But the fact that he dropped, like, nobody knew about that, right? So there's just, like you said, if you don't get added to like Rap Caviar or like stuff like that, like it's really hard to thrive.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, especially what Ram was saying, like people will judge a project off its like first 3 songs. Like if you don't like the first 3 songs, you're not going to continue to listen to it, or you get bored and you just click off.
Yeah.
So
And the,
kinda
the
sucks.
the issue with like sort of independence and like up and comings is that your sort of access to that new market now, like getting on these playlists and sort of getting placements on like certain like YouTube channels and things like that. The issue is that these majors and these sort of other record labels have relationships with your Spotify's and your Apple Musics, and they're only going to place sort of mostly their artists on these sorts of playlists and things like that. So that's where the sort of divide is.
Yeah. Damn.
Wow. What a conversation.
Wait, Tarun, do you have the word?
Oh yeah, let me pull that shit up.
I'm not doing the voice. My throat can't do it.
Yeah, please don't.
You guys do like a word at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
we
last 2
started that.
episodes.
Okay.
Okay, to decompress from our intense discussion, living up to the name in it. We're gonna close out with the new segment, the word of the day. Turn, what you got for me, pal?
Sorry, wait, are you gonna try to guess the, what do you call it, definition?
Yeah, you can
Sure.
guess the definition.
All right,
Yes.
It's an adjective. Pertinacious.
Is it just something that's
Tenacious.
pertinent?
Oh.
No. Well, I mean,
Like
A
something that
little bit.
relates to another
Super
thing?
relevant,
You-
yeah.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
in-
What's the origin of the word?
Yeah, what's the origin?
Hold on. All right, wait. Let me read the sentence and then I'll look for the origin. Example. So, in fact, the exorcism was quite ineffectual upon the pertinacious demon, or whatever the apparition might be.
Is it like
That doesn't
persistent?
really help.
Persistent? Yeah, I'm thinking like determined.
Yeah.
The determined demon.
Yeah. So, the first definition is adhering resolutely to an opinion, purpose, or design, and then the second definition is perversely persistent.
We got him. We got it.
And bars.
Pertinacious. I kind of like that. That's a cool word.
It
I'm
is
gonna use
cool.
that.
It sounds good.
So
Just
where's
drop
it
a
from
little-
though?
I'm looking.
Pertinacious.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
Where do you think pertinacious is from, Harsha?
LeBron James.
Greek.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know Greek.
I know the Greek.
I do know
Yeah.
Greek, yes.
Greek origin.
Uh,
All right, I found the origin. So it's
what is the per prefix? Is that a prefix? It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Per? Yeah.
For,
Ferdy?
you know what it is for?
I don't
No, that's not it.
know. So the first half of the word, or pertinax or pertinac, comes from Latin and it means holding fast, and then the ous is just from English.
Greek and English.
Yes.
Okay.
Latin and English.
No, Latin English.
You know it's Greek. That's what
Oh yeah, I was right.
There you go. Pertinacious, guys. If you can use that in your everyday life, like, go for it.
You're probably really successful.
Yeah. If you're pertinacious enough,
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right, that's enough that we got for this week. We want to thank Tarif for stopping by. Absolutely. You got anything you want to plug? Definitely plug your music.
Yeah, I was just gonna say one, thank you guys for having me. I have a music video that came out last week called Dust. I also have a single that came out a couple weeks prior. I have a full project coming out on November 6th. So I'm looking forward to dropping that. You can find me on all socials at Carnatic, CARNATIK.
All right, yeah, we'll definitely drop that, tag him and everything when we do the promos for this podcast. But other than that, that's all the time we got this week. So we'll catch you guys next week. All right, peace.
Bye.
Yes.